Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. So there's myriad possibilities, but there's three possibilities with this coronavirus thing. One is that they're telling us the truth, and it is as they say. Who is they? Basically the government right now. It's as they say, and pretty much as the press is reporting, although they tend to sensationalize things. We realize that, so that's a possibility. There are actions that we take for each of these possibilities. The second possibility is, here's where they're saying it is, it's much worse. The problems are huge. You don't understand, PJ, it's cold out here. This thing is, what is it? ELE, extinction level event, or up there. And then the other possibility is, here's where they're saying it is, it's actually down here, and they're doing actions up here that they know they don't have to do because it's really down here. So let's talk about that. Let's just work from top to bottom. If it's actually much worse than they are saying, I've been reading things about COOP, continuity of operations. It's a very classified program, and how things are being energized. It's rumor mostly, but they're doing that because they know this is a terrible thing, man, and the world is going to change, and they're getting ready for it. Thousands are going to die, economies are going to crash, that kind of thing. Okay, if that's true, what do we do? What do you and me, Joe and Jane regular, what do we do? Be prepared to be on your own, right? If this thing is much worse and everything's going to fall apart, well, one, you want to survive it, right? If it's worse, you want to survive it, and so you should be locked down right now. They told you to do that a couple days ago. You should be locked down, having no contact with anybody, because this is much worse in that contingency, and you want to survive till it burns itself out and then emerge again. But the bottom line, if it's that bad, the world into which you emerge could very well be post-apocalyptic, right? So then what to do? Be ready to support yourself. Totally. With everything. Have friends to help you form the village. That kind of thing. Maybe you're going to find new friends because none of you are, few of you, a couple of you are. Couple of us are locked in with others, and so you're going to have to find new friends when it's all over. But the bottom line is, other than just going, man, it's much worse, you don't understand, Pastor Joe, what are you doing about it? How are you getting ready to survive this much worse scenario? That's what you should be focusing your attention and energies on. Next one, it is as they say it is, and we're going to defeat this thing in a couple weeks to a couple months to, at the outset, if you read that one report, 18 months. Okay, well then be prepared for a little bit different life for the next up to 18 months, where you may or may not be able to go to the grocery store, where there may or may not be anything there for you to buy. But if you believe what they say, it'll be generally okay. The economy will take a hit. You may lose your job. Somebody today I commented on their comment, and they were like, I'm so mad at my boss. They're making us come to work and dun-dun-dun-dun, when we should be staying at home. Well, then stay at home, dude. Well, no, you're going to work because they're not going to pay you to stay at home, and you may lose your job if you stay at home. But you're mad that you may get this coronavirus and die? So you're choosing potential death, salary over potential death? Come on. But if you think it is as they say it is, right now you should be social distancing and staying home for the next, whatever we got, week and a half. They'll extend that. So there's that. Number three. It's actually, this is a conspiracy theory I've been hearing. It's actually much less than they're saying it is, but they're doing all this stuff, all the continuity of government, plans, preparations, National Guard, keeping people contained to their houses because they're trying to control society, or because the economy's getting ready to fail and they want to have everything in place or whatever. So really, you're not going to die down here in this scenario, and they're overreacting on purpose. what to do if you believe that. Well, I guess you're not so worried about going out and about to the extent that you can, and I don't think they will be able to seriously lock down the populace. I just don't think they'll be able to do that. And so you can go about your daily life not worrying about catching this thing, not self-isolating or anything, and you have to get ready for a more tyrannical form of government. So what's that mean? Ooh, I don't know. But you should, if that's what you believe. And so you should be taking steps now to deal with, you know, the new Nazi America or something, you know, man in a high tower or something, right? But what am I saying? Your actions should reflect your beliefs. So instead of saying, this is much worse than they're saying, they're hiding it, they're doing all this stuff for themselves, they're going to let the American people die. That's the top one. Okay, so what are you doing about it? What are you doing to make sure you and yours don't die? There's nothing we can do. Okay, yeah, that's the argument where you just want to bitch and complain, right? Got it. There's always something you can do. And again, if you think they're generally telling the truth, are you doing what they tell you to do then? Staying home for 2 weeks? And if you think, you know, this is all a government plot, well, then I guess you better get ready for the fruition of that plot, right? So there's that. The other thing I wanted to address in this video is the dry run aspect. People caught me say that one time, and I've had a lot of questions on YouTube, so I guess it's one of the Patreon videos I ended up putting on YouTube. What do you mean by dry run? Da, 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 da. Two things do I mean by dry run, and I don't remember exactly how I used it, but I do think this should be a dry run, and so here it is. Number one, the government is using this as an opportunity to pull out all the stops and test all the systems. So even if they think it's down here, it doesn't necessarily mean because they're doing all this stuff up here that they're preparing for a tyrannical, you know, new America. It's just like, hey, we've got this opportunity. There's money flowing. Let's test our systems for when we do get something that's like super Ebola, Marburg V aerosolized or something, and people be dying in huge numbers. So let's practice this. Let's get everything out, shake it out. The government does lessons learned that hard. They do after action reviews hard. They write up huge reports on it, and then they take action based on that reports, so they're more prepared the next time. And so in that case, yeah, they're using it as a dry run. How did it work when we told a third of our police officers, stay home, we think you're infected? How did we cope with that? What upticks did we see? What coping mechanisms did we use? How did our inner communication work with the different people? How did our press briefings work? How did we get compliance or not get compliance from our populace? How did that work and didn't work? What could we have done better? What techniques worked? What techniques were actually, oops, that didn't work the way we thought it would? That kind of thing. And so it's a dry run from the government perspective. Now, it could be a wet run, meaning, you know, this thing is real and they're just scrambling to get everything in place before it goes pop. But I guarantee you that everybody's pretty much, you know, people are being told you got to ramp up your contingency plans. Sure, the New York Times got a hold of that article that they're doing they had 3 code names for it. I didn't know it by those code names when I knew about it, because they change. But for continuity of operations, and they're dusting things off. Well, sure, this is a great time to do that. I mean, what if the entire D.C. area comes down with this thing and they all die? Well, we got to have a plan to keep the government going, right? And so, yeah, people are having to dust stuff off and look at it and be prepared to execute and da-da-da-da-da. Makes sense. That's them. But you are the one that's important. Right? It's all about you. It's your world. We're just passing through. This should be a dry run for you. It's why, and I know we have Vikings, let alone YouTubers, and I don't know if this one's going up on YouTube or not next week, but I know we have Vikings who aren't staying home for 2 weeks. I saw somebody today, again, I think that was on a YouTube comment though. Wherever, it doesn't matter where I saw it. I had the impression it was an older lady, and she goes, we're pretty much locked down. We're pretty much in a hard lockdown. We only go out for essential things. Then you're not in a hard lockdown if you're going out at all. Use this as a dry run. Force yourself to stay home and not interact with any people for 2 weeks. Keep tabs. Because even if you think, oh, I'm not really risking that much to go out, I'll just go out and get a little dog food for Fifi. What if the next time you know you can't go out? Shouldn't you use this as a test, as a practice, as a dry run, a rehearsal, an exercise to get ready for when it does matter? You got an excuse to do it now. A lot of places are being told all non-essential people stay home. Stay home then. Stay home. I have the distinct feeling in my gut that that's going to get spread to many more states. And you're going to be told to stay home. Well, then do it. Quit going out for stuff. Quit going out for last minute stuff. Suck it up. What you have is what you have. Deal with it. Dry run. Use this as your own dry run. Because if you think this is the last bad thing that's going to happen to you, wherever you are, Scotland, Australia, UK, America, Norway, if you think this is the last bad thing that's going to happen in your lifetime, you're wrong. Boom, 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 boom. It's going to come and come and come and come. And so this is the time for you to be practicing your preparedness hard. I watched a video today. Who did it? It was not MD Creekmore, because I watch him. It's a guy that reminds me of him, though. Something preparedness. Anyway, he was talking about gardening. You guys didn't see it. He was talking about gardening with old seeds and things he was doing. It was a good video. Stay home, plant a garden. How many times have I told you to plant a garden, no matter where you live? And how many of you still haven't started? I know a lot of you have. A lot of you have been doing it for years. I didn't have to tell you anything. But, you know, there's people on here, and I appreciate you all saying, thank you, PJ, for, you know, your book. Thank you for telling us the things you've told us because of you, you know, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, cool. Thank you. I appreciate your words. Those people are happy. They listened. I've also seen the comments, I wish I'd listened to you sooner. I don't know how you can justify not growing a garden. How can you justify not doing that? Being responsible for your own food. Whether that's just a tomato plant, cherry tomato plant you grow on the back deck in a pot, 5-gallon bucket that you found on the side of the road. Because the time's coming when if you don't produce your own food, you're at a significant disadvantage. Use this as a dry run. I encourage you. Think about the 3 aspects. Could be worse than they're saying, it could be pretty much as they're saying, it could be much less than they're saying, and then what your actions should be depending on what you believe. As for me and my house, yeah, we shall serve Yah, but we're living the prepper lifestyle, man. We live this. This is not a hobby for us. This is not a fear reaction for us. This is what we do. And life for us, yeah, we do on a normal day-to-day basis. We go to town a fair bit to get stuff. We're not now. We're here. We're doing the things. And I'm not stressed about it at all. Neither should you be. You should be ready. And if you're not, make your list. So soon as this one ends, because this too shall pass, soon as this ends, rectify your weaknesses. See, a lot of people aren't going to. They're going to be, man, right now they're saying, oh, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done this, oh, I'm just going to run out for one more thing. And instead of making that list, or even if they make that list, when this ends and you can freely go where you want, they're not going to take care of that stuff. They're just not. Some people cannot be taught. You know, part of Special Forces assessment is selecting soldiers who demonstrate the ability to be taught. For those of you who are instructors of any kind or have been, you know there's those guys and gals who you just can't teach them anything. I mean, they're in your course and you can't teach them. I've done my best. I've done the best I can with what I got where I'm at. And now it's up to you. All right, hey, I wish you all well. Stay healthy. Stay away from people. I'll see you out there.